This week on Stay Out of My Fridge.
Obviously, I'm not a very religious person, but I got a text message today from a friend saying, "Hey, can I put you on the prayer chain at the church?"
When it comes to the body hair and the boys and stuff like that, you're on your own. Just use Google. There's a lot of stuff. I'm not going to teach you how to trim your ball hair.
But if you would like some lessons, Brandon J McDermott.
That is onlyfans.com/Brandon J McDermott. Puree pancake was hands down one of the worst meals I've ever had in my life. I was trying to put some syrup into it, and they gave me butter. And I'm like, what the? I'm just stirring the butter into this thick puree pancake. Oh, it was. I'm trying to get like a spoon of it, and I'm lifting up the whole bowl because it just won't separate. I'm like, this is the worst. And
Get it? We're back. The three of us, we're back. And it was funny to me because I was like, hey, we still good at the same time of recording? We're like, yeah, just give me 1 second. And all three of us were pooping. I think like us dudes, we're hanging out so much. I know it's still virtual and we're all over the country, but I think our poops are starting to cycle up, kind of like women in their... They sync up, I guess, if they hang around too long, which is awesome because I live in a house full of women.
I was just about to say the same thing, Matt. In fact, I think if you do a podcast for several years in a row, you kind of start matching up your poops.
Mm-hmm. And it
honestly,
does.
I wasn't going to go until you guys were like, hey, we're both going to go poop. And I'm like, I have to poop? I was going to wait. You talked me into it. Let me go ahead and just go.
The voice you're hearing, it's me. It's Matt, it's Beard Laws. Brandon J McDermott, as always, probably my favorite voice in the entire world. He's here, and Yuban Whakinov. Welcome back, buddy. Man, it's good to see
back.
You. Yeah, it's good to see you. You look refreshed. You look good. And glad to have you back.
Finally have some energy again. So this has been real nice. It is a little weird though, because obviously I'm not a very religious person, but I got a text message today from a friend saying, "Hey, can I put you on the prayer chain at the church?" Because his wife is one of the nurses that'll be doing my scans next week. So she saw my name on the list and she's like, "Hey, saw you're coming in here. Usually not a good sign if people are coming in here. Can we put you on the prayer chain?" And I'm like, do you think saying my name that many times in the church won't burn it down? Like, are you sure you want to do that? I'm not responsible for any accidents.
It's kind of like saying Beetlejuice. You say his name too many times, boom, here I am.
Exactly. I was like, and I even told him, I was like, hey, you guys know it's me, right? Like, you need my name? Like, are you sure? Okay. No, I was super appreciative though, but I was like, you might heed your warning, if you start seeing a little smoke over there and stuff like that, how are your smoke detectors? Are they good? Are they up to date?
And it's not me behind the church actually doing any smoking.
It's not, damn it. Fucking devil's lettuce, the Lord's lettuce, whatever it is, just give it to me in my body and don't make me sick, please.
This is a random question that just popped in my brain. When you hear church and you hear prayers, what's the song that pops in your head? Because I have a song that pops in my head every goddamn time, and it's Jesus is just all right with me. I don't know why it is. Anything that's related to church, whether I'm going to a wedding there, whatever, I don't know. That one pops in my head every time, and it just did when you were like prayer chain, and then I'm going.
So I'm a piece of shit. So mine is always I think of the wiener getting up, and it's just, you raise me up.
Jesus.
Every time. So that was always my go-to joke. So every time someone's saying a church song, you raise me up, baby.
I would just like to make a disclaimer. Brandon J McDermott does not support the sacrilegious comments.
The Get Out of My Fridge podcast is sponsored by the Paris Olympics.
Allegedly. No, but it is potentially friends of the show, though, because we might as well throw it out there with that beautiful segue. We have a new friend of the show. It's August, which is kind of crazy and scary and shitty already. But it's Brio. You guys can go to Brio for Life. You guys can check it out. Obviously, I'm not one. You're probably going, why do you need a beard trimmer? Well, I don't trim the beard, but I do trim my cheeks. Not my butt cheeks, my face cheeks. And every once in a while, it's nice to not have to use scissors. And you know what I mean? And you can also trim up the body hair. So, I mean, there's got to be Brandon, both of you, Yuban, you guys are ones that, clean up, keep the beard more of a professional look. So, I mean, this is something that you guys were there. I have a couple of them. What I'm going to try to do is I'm going to try to send them over to you guys. If it's something you want to use, cool. If not, you guys can check it out. And because Brio's so awesome, brioforlife.com, you guys can use code BEARDLAWS. Save yourself some money. And if you guys have any questions on how you trim your beard, shoot a message, matt@beardlaws.com. I will personally give you all the recommendations on how to trim them. And when it comes to the body hair and the boys and stuff like that, you're on your own. Just use Google. There's a lot of stuff. I'm not going to teach you how to trim your ball hair.
But if you would like some lessons, Brandon J McDermott.
That is onlyfans.com/Brandon J McDermott.
Mm-hmm.
Speaking of BrandonJMcDermott.com, I had a whole problem last week with my website. So, like,
oh no,
I use Squarespace, which is awful. But every year it manually refreshes, and I have to pay some more money for the annual subscription. Well, this year it happened, and of course my card was declined because the card changed. You know how that goes. You change cards and change places you're doing business with your banks. But that happened, and all of a sudden my website went down and my email went down. So I couldn't send emails and I couldn't send websites. Or I couldn't get to my website. So I obviously log into my Squarespace, and I pay the money that I owe, and I think everything's going to be okay. And I'm like, all right, I'll give it 24 hours, whatever. 24 hours happens, website's still down, email's still down. Okay. So now I'm Googling customer service numbers, don't exist. Okay, live support with a person. Okay, that's fine, that's better. Oh, it's down. Send an email. Oh, well, this is very bad. So I sent an email, didn't hear anything back, and luckily had my backup email set up, so I was getting emails about it somewhere else. Blah, blah, blah. Everything paid for, didn't hear anything. That was Monday until Friday. I reach out again, go to the whole process. Chat's still down. But I sent an email and somebody replied back. And they sent me another link. There was a link to, not only do I have to pay for the website, whatever, like their Squarespace, whatever.
For the domain, to own the name.
Then I have to pay for the domain every year. And I was like, are you... Yep. So I paid $300
for a year?
For a year.
So is that the name and the hosting, though?
Name and the hosting, and then it's...
email.
Like email and all the other shit that they have on the back end of, like, being able to use the website to sell shit. You know how it goes. You know more about this than I do. Anyway, with a little fucking $10 charge that was there was no alert on my login page. There was no text, no email, nothing that said, hey, your website's not working, even though you paid $300 because you didn't pay this $10 piece of charge for a domain. So anyway, did that.
I would recommend switching to Namecheap. That's what I use, and I love it. I have unlimited hosting. We'll talk after, but I'm saying I got unlimited hosting. I would love to be the official host of the Brandon J McDermott website, and that will never happen with Namecheap. They're awesome. Namecheap, if you're listening, hook us up. And it's not bad. I mean, the price isn't terrible. I think I pay $36 a month, but I have unlimited domains, and either way, but that sucks. But now it's back up. You guys can go to Brandon J McDermott. What I'm wondering is, there was I want to say like India or something like that had a huge outage for like 2 to 3 days. Nobody in the country had internet. So I was wondering if maybe Squarespace, because there was some major websites that have a lot of their hosting and their main stuff over there. I'm wondering if Squarespace was over there. So then there was extra outage without you being able to get your support, because there was right after that CloudStrike stuff.
Yep.
A lot of other countries that used it actually, I guess, shut some things down to be able to redo their infrastructure and stuff.
So I don't know much about all the details of all the stuff that went down, but when it comes to the news, but I will say that when it happened, it was the first thing that hit my mind was maybe this is something that's happening more than just me. So I looked into it, but it wasn't. Yep. They were up and functioning. But anyway, neither here nor there.
What's crazy is how scary the internet is when it, like, I mean, that happened. It shut down airlines, it shut down hospitals. And what I understand, I didn't get into it, and obviously I'm a nerd, and, you know, if you're not a nerd, you're not going to. So let me see if I can break this down. CloudStrike, from what I understand, is like a piece of software that pushes automatically updates to servers, to computers and stuff. So that way you don't have to manually go to every computer. You get a Windows update. Do you want to do this? Do you want to do this? Do you want to restart it? They're like a third-party software that lots of companies use. Well, they, in their testing, had one little flaw, just one little piece of code that kind of got screwed up, and it just, everybody that had them pushed out this bad one, and just choop. Yeah, nothing was compromised. At least it just physically took them down, rather than data leaks or something. But it's scary. I love watching those when that stuff happens. Not love watching, but it intrigues me. I guess it's crazy. The flight things. When you see the flights over the map and it's just choo-choo, and then all of a sudden with the outage, there's like a couple of flights. It's wild.
That was wild because honestly, they said that skies haven't been that clear since like 9/11.
Yeah. Is it ironic that somebody else's lungs are that clear? What else is wild to me is, I know Brandon has been watching. I don't know if you have, Yuban, but the Olympics. Like, I love the Olympics, whether it's summer, winter. I've been watching, and Brandon said he was so into it. He even got a subscription to Peacock, so he never misses any of the action. But the targeted arson to kick it off. Did you guys hear about that?
Yeah, the buses and the trains or whatever.
The trains. Yeah, there was a like 4:00 in the morning, I think their time, the day the Olympics were getting ready to start or whatever. There was a bunch of fires that broke down and took down the major transportation in all of Paris, and millions of people were stranded. Some of them were athletes, some of them obviously spectators and stuff like that, and it was going to take a day or two. And that's like I couldn't imagine the amount of money that they're having to spend and lose because of it. But how scary is that? And then obviously the security efforts have, what I've been told, has ramped up quite a bit.
That is just, after seeing like the Copa events here in the States and everything, and then now with Paris, it just, with the World Cup happening in 2026, and I think maybe a little bit next year as well, it's gonna be scary. Like, we're gonna have to have increased security and everything. Like, this is, and now the Olympics are gonna be in Salt Lake and the next decade as well. Yep. So, well, they said Lake that there's Placid's, not a lot of options.
Yeah, Lake Placid's throwing their name back out to host a winter one. That would be sweet. I love that place. I wouldn't be able to afford to go to it, but
and now this isn't anything related to the Olympics, but did you guys see the big news? I don't know if you guys followed like the MCU or anything like that. Did you see the big news that dropped yesterday at Comic-Con?
I did. I randomly saw it in, well, not randomly, Goot and Burley nerded out hard. If it's the same one that we're talking about.
Oh, is it Robert Downey Jr. joining? Yeah, he's going to be Dr. Doom, which is weird. I don't know how they're going to play that off, but apparently he's going to be Dr. Doom in the 5th and 6th installments of the Avengers. So
that's awesome.
Yeah,
I think Goot's quote was something like, "It's a reach, but I can see the move they're doing," or something like that. So
yeah, he was pretty much the MCU, so I get why they're trying to bring him back, because honestly, I haven't watched much after Endgame. So with all these newer things and stuff like that, I think I watched WandaVision on Disney, but there's been so many different spin-offs and everything else. You know me, I don't watch a lot of stuff, but I don't know. It's cool to see him back, but as a villain, it's weird, a little different.
I think, yeah, and I'm not a movie nerd. I'm not even really a movie watcher, but you know what I mean. Like, I get the runoff like from the Goot and Rob and all those guys, and they have been going hard about the Deadpool and Wolverine movie that just came out. And if you guys are into those movies, I highly recommend. Goot's doing like a really big breakdown. They're doing the I forget what they're doing a hot take on Deadpool and Wolverine over on Barrel Age Flicks. So we love Goot, the dudes at Barrel Age Flicks. So make sure you guys check that out. I'm gonna watch that, and I don't know shit about it, but they're gonna. I think Goot is gonna break this down so much. I don't know if you guys saw his Instagram. He had his mask on and his big old arms, and I'm like, what a stud!
Dude's jacked. He's our bodyguard of the Body Wrong podcast. Yes, dude is jacked.
He is.
And he says he's already seen the movie twice, and I'm like, I hate going to the movies usually in general. And he's just like, no, I'll go 4 times in a weekend. And I'm like, bless your soul. What the fuck? He must have one of those passes that's like unlimited viewing or something like that.
If he doesn't, he needs to, or if that's not a thing. But they were. If anybody wants, you guys can watch the full thing on Body Around. But we got into fucking with Rob pretty hard because he was going to go watch the movie and did go watch it. But and then he got into the whole thing about popcorn and how he has a system, I guess, where he like brings a bag for his fiance and like has to layer the butter, and he loves that they don't limit the butter or something on this thing. So he goes through it, mixes it all up in this extra bag and all this stuff. And Burley's like, you got to get the bucket or whatever, that $40 bucket. And he's like, I'm not paying for it. And they destroyed him for it. To the point where I think Burley and all of us were sending him money to cover the $40 bucket. I didn't send anything, but oh man, and then they brought up like, and maybe you guys know this or maybe don't, and I hate to do like a cross thing, but apparently like getting movie popcorn to go is like the thing that people do. They pay for the ticket, they go and get the popcorn, and then they just leave.
My wife is huge with that sometimes because we got a membership down here to one of the movie theaters, and she does that all the time.
See, I could see that. You're a member. You just want some good popcorn. But then Rob's like, yeah, dude, we can just have it DoorDash to us. And I'm like, you fucking city people.
God, all these people with the DoorDash, I know I would abuse the fuck out of it as well. That's why I'm glad I live out in the middle of nowhere to where I can just save some money, you know. And whenever I was sick, people kept offering. They're like, hey, man, let me get some pizza delivered to your house. I'm like, pizza doesn't deliver to my house, man. I got to drive 20 miles to go get pizza. And they're like, move. What the fuck? I'm like, no. I save so much money. We cook at home a lot.
Well,
It works.
That's my thing. A bag of popcorn that, you know what I mean? Just the kernels. To make a ton of fucking popcorn is like $2. Yeah. And you're telling me we're living in a world where you can't just get on the internet and find the recipe to movie popcorn butter? It can't be that difficult. I mean, I've never done it, but I was walking through the store the other day, and they had the tins to make your own Twinkies with the recipe on how to actually make Twinkies. And I was like, the kids were like, can we? I was like, no. I'm trying to eat healthy because my buddy is sick, and I'm not going to start making homemade Twinkies. No. And but like there has to be a thing or a bottle. I mean, you can get Arby's sauce at Walmart and shit. You're telling me you can't just buy movie popcorn butter?
You can.
Right.
It's we have it in a spray bottle. That's how fat we are here. It's you know, as soon as we make our popcorn at home, we have a little spray bottle. Just
that's brilliant.
The trick is pour half of it or like a quarter of it first, spray. Pour it again, spray. There's a routine. And I've seen the people at the movie theater who put the straw in the middle of their bucket and then connect it to the butter dispenser. So it goes through the bottom of the bucket and it spreads it out evenly. So they just lift the straw up as they fill it. And I'm like, fucking brilliant. What the fuck? I was like, I've never even thought of this. But like I was telling you, Matt, my movie theater, the local one that I have, it's an old hangar, like an airplane hangar. So they during COVID, they turned a couple of the theaters into like a pickleball court. Now they have brick oven pizza that they just make fresh. So, and people are bringing in 6-packs of beer to watch them. I'm like, what the movies have changed since I don't go very often, but we did see Twisters.
Ooh. Titty Twisters.
If you're a fan of the original, I think you'll really like the second one. It's just as cheesy. It really is, but the graphics are better, obviously, since it's 30 years newer, and there's more death in this one. You see people just getting, I'm like, oh.
Was there a cow? I don't want it to be a spoiler. Was there a cow?
And chickens. And so when I saw the chickens, like everything, because like, oh, I think I just killed a whole coop of chickens. I'm like, yes, get them, fucking get them. And then one of them survived, and I'm just like, piece of shit. That's the one that's going to kill the whole world.
That's the Rocky of the chickens.
Was there Van Halen? I'm a huge Van Halen fan.
Don't
there wasn't.
So
there wasn't.
I don't. So
they set you up.
I was trying to think of like the soundtrack, and I don't recall a lot of the songs on there, but they did have Dorothy. Dorothy was in this one briefly. And the main truck's like a red Dodge, so they kind of pay homage to the original and stuff. So
does it have anything to do with the old one? And is it in the same universe, or is it as the old one?
Don't even mention the original characters. I thought for sure I would see like Helen Hunt as like the aunt of, oh, here's my aunt. She used to chase tornadoes or something. Nothing. They literally just showed Dorothy and the little capsule like things kind of like in the original, but don't really pay too much attention to the original movie. But it's the guy that plays the main character that was in Maverick and all the other stuff. That was the main reason my wife wanted to see it was him. And I mean, it was so fucking predictable with the storyline. The thing that made it amazing was just the graphics. Like the graphics were pretty
good. Here's a list, a lot of country stuff, a lot of names I don't recommend. This is from Deadline.com. You got some Don Omar, Benson Boone, Megan Maroney, Luke Combs.
I see
Tyler
Laney Wilson.
Some Jelly Roll, Kane Brown. Connor Smith. I don't know a lot of these guys, but I know Jelly Roll. Miranda Lambert, heard of her. Ain't in Kansas anymore.
Lainey Wilson has that big dump truck.
Oh, is that the one that we showed it a couple of times? Yeah.
Yeah.
What's weird though?
Some titty twisters.
They start doing twisters, and whether it's timing or whether it's just there's been a lot of goddamn tornadoes, and the reason you guys have been getting some, we've been getting some goddamn tornadoes. We don't get tornadoes. We've had confirmed, like, I think at least like what is it, Adams, New York, which is probably an hour from me. Somebody recorded the funnel cloud. They had the whole thing. Then of course there was another place where we had a terrible storm as well, and everybody was like, "Oh, tornado!" They looked, and the weather guy had to get on Facebook. Love this dude. He doesn't care if he calls people out. He's on the local news and stuff, and does the weather stuff. Very active in social media. If there's a storm, he follows it. Chris Hudson, shout out to you, bud. And he's like, "That's not a funnel cloud," because people are taking pictures. If it was a funnel cloud, you wouldn't see the funnel cloud because of the rain coverage and this and that. Like, it looks like it. It's this type of cloud. I don't know weather stuff. But yeah, he broke it right down, and I'm like, it's been. I know every year somebody's like, "Oh, the weather's crazy." How the hell are we getting goddamn tornadoes? There must be a reason, but
it's been wild. Like the Midwest has been getting rocked too. Like it seems like it's been getting more north. Like usually you see it's always like Oklahoma, Texas, and stuff like that, Tornado Alley. And lately it's been like, oh no, it's Iowa, Ohio, all of these other ones. You're like, what the fuck is going on? It is just crazy, but it's. If you want a good movie, it's 2 hours long is the thing. My attention span, I'm sitting there just like, fucking just wipe out this town and get it the fuck over with. I'm ready. This movie, is it over? Like,
yeah, it's coming. It's coming. Maybe there's one, maybe there's two, maybe there's three, but it's coming. I mean, don't drag it out.
And everywhere they go, they go to a rodeo. Oh, a tornado appears. Oh, they're at this gas station. A tornado appears. I'm like, motherfuckers, why don't you just get out of the state? Like, they're following you. Get out.
Did they kind of, and like I said, if anybody doesn't want to listen because of the spoilers or whatever, just feel free to turn it off. But back in the other movie, they kind of relied on the wind chimes and the old maps and did they actually incorporate technology as it is now? Because let's be honest, these weather people know when tornadoes are coming. If people choose to stay there, it's kind of on them. Maybe areas like us, it's a little less where they're like, hey, a storm's coming, we don't know what it's going to be, and you have a little less time. But nowadays, with these phones and technology, if a major storm's coming. I feel like if you're just sitting there, that's on you.
And that's kind of what they put in the movie, was the fact that technology has, increased and advanced and everything. And they mentioned the main character, he's not part of a storm team, but he's more of a YouTube channel. So they incorporate people doing these for YouTube views and everything. But the whole premise of the movie is still to try to figure out how to warn people sooner is the ultimate goal. Is they're just trying to figure out how to observe them, stop them. That's the thing, is they keep saying oh, we're trying to stop these tornadoes, and I'm like, huh? What? And they're like, yeah, we're gonna put some stuff in the sky and we're gonna stop the tornado. And I'm like, okay, sure, yeah, you go do that. Go lasso the motherfucker while you're at it. Maybe see if you can just tie it down. It'd
be a cool party trick. Watch this.
Yeah, exactly. But the main character that was the crazy YouTuber and stuff like that made it for me. It was just funny.
Yeah. Well, it's kind of like, what is it? I don't know if it's Pixar or Disney or whoever made that Inside Out 2, how they're kind of incorporating, I didn't see the movie, but the kids did, where they add anxiety and disgust or something like that. Just kind of, to throw that out there with the kids, hey, this is a normal feeling. When we grew up, we just had it. We still live with it. And most of the board games that we played were full of anxiety-ridden shit, the pop game and all those. But
I saw the movie with my kid, and it's pretty good. I thought it was going to be a letdown, so it was a lot better than I thought it was going to be, because the first one was good. I didn't think it would live up to that, but it did. It was definitely worth watching. Silly kids movie, of course, but it was a good one.
Yeah. Did they add kind of some parent moments in there that they don't quite get?
There were some parent moments. There always is, with especially some of the voice actor folks they choose are clear adult comedy types, and so they definitely throw some of that in there.
That's awesome.
It was a cute movie. We saw that a few weeks ago as well before I got sick, and it was a cute movie. It wasn't bad. I saw the first one, and they convinced me to see the second one, and it was nice how they introduced some new characters, and I don't know. It was an all right movie.
Yeah, and the kids are pumped. Obviously, they saw it. I didn't see it, and they're like, Frozen 3's coming out. I don't know if they saw it in the trailers or something like that. And I'm like, God damn it! How long can they ride this Frozen train? You know what I mean? Like the first one, classic. Saw it. Kid was at that age. Watched it many times. Well, I had it on many times. She watched it. I can't friggin'. My brain doesn't allow to. But then Frozen 2. Hadn't seen it. Walked in the other day. They had it on there. Saw a couple of different parts. All right. How much more trouble can they get in, and how much more shit can she freeze? Like, I'm assuming they have the ability. I mean, they have big brains in a team that they'll come up with something. But like, I'm kind of over it.
Movie reviews of Matt. Frozen. How much more shit can you freeze?
I mean,
who's ready for global warming? Fuck Elsa. Just
I love it. That's great.
Well, maybe they come up with a character that starts heating everything up, and then she's got to combat it with, they start to melt the polar ice caps, and Elsa's like, I will save the day. And then they sing a song about it, and then the dumb sister, falls in love with a couple of different guys, and then they sneak in some characters from the other movies. They gotta make it here. Then so something's got to happen. Probably in Frozen 3, I'm guessing what's happened is the sister's dude is going to fall in love with Elsa. They're going to have a weird thing. And then the sister's going to fall in love with, I'm not going to say that, with somebody else. Maybe one of those trees or something.
Well, they showed some previews. Of course, Moana 2 is coming out in December or whatever. And
does it have The Rock in it again?
They do. I think
so. Now we get to see him on every friggin' podcast and show coming up. That's cool.
Well, the one movie that I keep seeing the previews for that I'm usually not like a big M. Night Shyamalan fan or whatever, that Trapped movie looks fucking good. I don't know what it is.
It's a movie he's doing, it's going to fuck you up. You know what I mean? Like,
and that's what I was telling my family. I was like, either this is going to be really, really good or really, really bad. I was like, there is no in between with this guy usually. So it's, I don't know. It just like Josh Hartnett, like you haven't seen that guy in forever. And then he turns out to be the bad guy. And you're like, huh? It's like, what the fuck is going on? And just the whole premise of that movie, I've seen the same trailer like 6 times. Every time I do, I'm like, I gotta see that fucking movie. Like, that looks really good.
Is that the one that you talked about a while ago that was coming out? That you were really intrigued by, where they had like the dad, they went to a concert or something? Is that the one?
That is the one. I feel
like you have to see it. You've been pumped about that for a while.
And it's very rare that I get excited to see like a movie. So I'm like, all right, I'm gonna go see this one. And then they showed old Dennis Quaid is gonna play Ronald Reagan. So
oh shit.
Oh my God. And where I live too, people started clapping whenever I'm like, this is a preview. I'm like, what the fuck is like, shut up. And that's all I hear. So like, woo! And I'm like, it's not really Ronald Reagan. Shut the fuck up. I'm like, it's Dennis Quaid.
Hey, maybe Dennis Quaid, big fans in Missouri. Go hang out for the movie releases.
I guarantee everyone that was in that movie theater claps when the plane lands. Guarantee it. Disgusting.
Oh shit! I was just kind of going through some of the movies that were coming out to see if there was any, and the first one that pops out being released in August is a movie called Saving Bikini Bottom, the Sandy Cheeks movie.
Love me some SpongeBob.
So you've already heard that? I just love
SpongeBob.
I had no idea that it was even SpongeBob. I was gonna have you guys try to guess what that was, but yeah.
Yeah, Bikini Bottom, Sandy Cheeks, bro. You know what? Whenever I went to my cat stand, they give me contrast and they go, hey, you're going to feel it deep down, And she's like, hey, are you feeling it? I'm like, I'm feeling it, Mr. Krabs. I'm feeling it. And she goes, what? And I go, oh, you're too young for SpongeBob. Never mind. I'm going to go fuck myself now. So as soon as you mentioned Bikini Bottom, I was like, and now I'm embarrassed again. I forgot that happened last year.
I have to imagine that wasn't the worst thing that happened while you were having a stay at a not hotel.
No, did I tell you that you were talking about shaving? Did I tell you? So they had to put the heart monitor on me, and the nurse was like, hey, I got these 5 little sticker pads that I'm going to put on you. And I go, oh, I'm a little hairy. And she goes, how hairy? And I just lift up my shirt, She goes, I'll grab the razor. I was like,
do you imagine, like,
so I look like Steve Carell in the 40-year-old virgin. I have patches. I
Kelly
look like a
Clarkson.
jack-o'-lantern. That's what I even told him. Whenever they ripped him off, too, some of the hair was still coming off. And I was like, Kelly Clarkson, Kelly Clarkson.
Did she get the reference, or did they get the reference?
They did, so that, they don't know Mr. Krabs, apparently, but they know the Kelly Clarkson from the 40-year-old virgin.
Hey, classic. Shout out to that. Yeah, that's got to be. What would you think would be worse, having to shave people in a hospital or having to shave people before a tattoo?
Tattoo.
Ooh, tattoo.
Think so?
Yeah, I don't know.
You know, okay, respectfully, your clientele in a tattoo parlor. You don't know who you're getting in a hospital. So I don't know, I guess.
But I would, like me, I don't have any tattoos, so I can't really speak to it. But if I'm going to go in and be like, all right, I'm going to get a tattoo here, like, I'm probably going to go in pre-shaved. You know what I mean? Like, where I'm going to get it, like, I would have to imagine, like, that you're going to go.
True.
When you go into a hospital, you're not going, like, most of the time, you're probably not going there knowing you're going to the hospital, and you can kind of prepare yourself to, be pre-shaved or,
Sure.
Be ready to go. I mean, if I was to go to the hospital right now and had to do anything, they would need a friggin', like brush hog to be able to yeah. You think your chest hair is there? Oh shit! But
whenever they went with the patches, I was thinking in my head too, and I was like, I'm just going to ask her to shave my whole chest. I was like, you might as well just do the whole thing while you're there. And so while she did it, I was like, oh, this is kind of embarrassing. She goes, yeah. She's like, what's really weird is when people ask us to do like the whole thing, and I go, oh, thank God I did not make that fucking joke. I was like,
yep.
Dodged a bullet.
I wonder if she would have had to. Like, really?
I know. Well, and then she even said something too. She's like, hair around your nipples are really long, and I'm like, you my wife? Leave me alone, bitch. What the fuck? I'm like, some of these hairs are about
What are you, Judy? Don't judge me.
Yeah, I was like, I'm gonna let them grow now. I'm trying to braid them.
Braided nipples hairs, 2025. That's a thing.
That's right.
Yeah, that's.
I, as a man, if it's not on my face, and I do trim my beard or my head, like if nature's not cutting those hairs, they're not meant to be cut.
Yeah,
that's exactly right.
And where I live, you kind of need the hair to survive the winters. I feel like that's why I'm part Sasquatch up here. I mean, it's pretty damn cold. And that's why the kids were complaining the other day. It's so hot. Yeah, I know it's 85 and 92% humidity. It's a little toasty. And is Canada burning again? Apparently, because we got some smoke warnings where it's going to get a little thick. So I pull up, winter, New York. This is coming, kids. Enjoy the friggin' weather. And they were instantly like, yeah, I guess it's not bad. Maybe we'll go swimming. There you go. Little shits.
I think we're starting to get into the 90s next week, and I'm like, ugh.
Are you guys scheduled on Tuesday, Wednesday to hit 102 like we are?
Oh, fuck.
Yeah.
I hope not.
Gross.
I can guarantee you I'm not, but maybe a couple of days after that is usually whenever you guys get weather.
We've already had,
like every once in a while, like, Yuban, how's it going, man? What's the weather like? Everything good? Yeah, it's we're getting a terrible storm. Cool. I'll be prepared in a couple of days. No, actually, where I'm from, Yuban's looking it up. This week we're 88s one day is the highest, and then looks like next week is all high 70s. It's mid to high 70s, like that.
It's going to be 98 on Tuesday, so not quite as hot as yours, Brandon, but close.
That's miserable.
Well, it looks like they changed it Tuesday to 100. Thought it was 102 a couple days ago. But.
God. Honestly, though, we've been pretty spoiled with the weather this year. Like, honestly, like it's been hot some days, but normally around this time we're already reaching the hundreds and stuff like that. And the 4th of July, I think it was 84. You can't beat that.
No, that's good hanging out weather.
Yes.
For sure. Yeah, this is around this spot in my head. The oldest was sitting there, and teenage girl, whether they're girls or boys, they sleep all the time. So it was like 9-something. I'm sitting in the kitchen all by myself. For some reason, everybody's still sleeping, enjoying a cup of coffee with the dogs. And she walks through, and I'm like, "What the hell are you doing up? Is something wrong?" She's like, "I couldn't sleep." I'm like, "Oh, what's going on?" She goes, "You ever just have one of those nights where you can't sleep because you just know something's gonna happen?" I'm like, nope, don't have that. And she's like, "What happened?" Like, I was even freaked out. I tried texting mom, like I locked my door and all this stuff. And I'm like, what? She goes, and then I'm like, all right, I'm going to actually really try to fall asleep. And then all of a sudden, I heard something. And then I looked out, and there's a cop, and there's all these lights, and all this stuff. It was like 2 minutes after she texted her mom that like she just had this weird feeling. Apparently there was a car accident right outside our pretty much right outside our house. She said then she went over in there and there was just ambulance after ambulance and fire trucks and cops. And so she then turns on the scanner and starts to hear that, that somebody's in and out of consciousness, definitely a broken arm and this and that. And I'm like, holy shit, like what kind of superpowers do you have?
Yeah, no shit. Get her to start her own show like Miss Cleo.
Right? But I was just like, God damn. So hopefully the people that, got in that accident were all right. But you never know. It's a really, really, really back road. Usually you only travel it if you're kind of twisted or, you know what I mean? Or, you live down this way. Either hopefully that's not the case, that somebody was messed up and something bad happens. But like I said, 1:30 in the morning. And it used to be like where we live. It used to be like, I don't know if you guys have one of those where it's just like people want to go because it's like a hill. So you can get flying over there, you have your belly drop or whatever. There's been some deaths on this hill, so people have stopped over the last little bit, but hopefully it wasn't something stupid like that, you know what I mean?
Damn.
Yeah, they used to call it Thrill Hill.
It's weird how, because my daughter will get the same thing sometimes, just like that impending doom feeling. And she'll be like, something's not right. And I'm like, what the fuck is wrong with you? What are you talking about? And then usually we'll see like cops go by the highway and stuff like that. And I'm like, what the hell? Mm-hmm. My mom used to do that shit too. I don't know if it's like, there's a whole bunch of witches around here, probably. These women, murder. Mm-hmm. I don't know what it is, but it's not. I've never been able to call shit. I'm always pessimistic and just negative Nancy. So I'm always like, what can go wrong will go wrong type of person. So usually whenever I'm right, I'm like, told you. They're like, you're always negative. Like, that doesn't count.
And then I'm like, okay, well, clearly you can see the future. Could I get like 5 numbers that you think might hit?
Yes. Powerball, please. What is it? What's the multiplier for this week?
We could really use that money. We were at they do this thing around where I am. It's called the Seaway Festival. So where we are, obviously, is the Seaway. They just, they do a fireworks. They do parade, the whole little thing people come home for. I can't stand fireworks and parades, but they're doing the whole firework and there's float goes by and I'm like, oh cool. And somebody's like, do you remember who that is? I'm like, nah, they're from my hometown. They were like 20 years old, 20 or 21, and won like $1 million, I think it was $1 million or $2 million on a scratch off. And I'm like, oh, could you imagine? I was like, I'd probably be dead if I was a millionaire at 20, the way that I was going. But apparently he took that money, decided to start his own like trucking company. So he hauls, those Amish built sheds. I'm sure you guys have something like that out that way. Maybe you don't, but just pre-built, sheds that people buy and just anything heavy. I guess he trucks them around. I'm like, God damn, good for you on a scratch off.
I never get that lucky. I only get fucking $2 or a free ticket every time. And you mentioned the Amish. So there's a Jamesport, Missouri. There's like an Amish town, and they have like a trading post and stuff like that. Unfortunately, there's been some arson going around, and they've been burning these buildings down. And I'll have to look it up and see if I can't send you the picture. But they showed it was like half of this major building that was. They showed a picture of it like 6:30 in the morning on Friday, and by 6:30 in the evening on Saturday, it was completely fixed, siding, roofing, everything on it. I'm like, holy fuck! Like, it was crazy. Yeah. So that's
a store.
That's the main store. While you're doing that, I'm gonna send you see if I can't find the picture.
Do they think it's other Amish?
Yeah, dude, it's crazy. It's
this is
a turf war going on with the Amish
that the KTTN is throwing out there. That's interesting. You imagine being the AI, the person having to do AI. Please do a picture of a depiction of a 1970s car hitting an Amish buggy, so we can put that out there.
I am sending you a text right now it shows you like the top picture, and then the bottom one of it.
They get crazy money for those too, because when I was looking into them, I was trying to get a decent one built up so I could turn it into a different studio, add some power and all that stuff. They don't. People think they all go to the Amish. They're inexpensive. Oh, they're pretty goddamn expensive.
Have you ever seen them move one of the barns with like the whole community and stuff like that? Like they've shut down our 1-lane roads out in the middle of these smaller towns, and you're like, what the hell's going on? And then you just see like 50 Amish dudes lifting up this huge ass barn with these big ass pieces of wood underneath of it and stuff, and you're just going, what the fuck? Like, how are you doing this shit? Go get it, Ezekiel. Fucking get it.
Get him in the Olympics powerlifting.
No shit. But it's crazy. That's all that was on social media was the fact that like Jamesport can be rebuilt in 24 hours. Essentially, it's like,
that is nuts.
Yeah, so that's within like 30 hours is how much they completed. I'm like, that is insane.
And what's even more crazy is, depending on the religion of the Amish, at least around here, they're not out there using like power tools. So when they're putting the roof on, they're putting the support beams and everything up, the trusses, they're hammering, and they're just like, it's unbelievable.
Just shows you like those the pyramids in Egypt and stuff like that, probably built by the Amish.
I think so. You heard it here first, Joe Rogan.
That's right. Come on our podcast, Joe. Debate me. I guarantee you, it was the Mennonites and Amish. They built all three of them. Fuck you.
Mm-hmm. It is crazy. I don't know what kind of algorithm I've gotten into, but lately I've been just seeing all sorts of stuff about like, look at this underground cave from here and this and that, and it's the Explorer, but now the water level, and like that's just what I read in the picture, and then I keep scrolling. But I don't know. I think it's because Burley keeps making all these references about conspiracy theories. I think and it's weird because I don't know what people are like, Burley, that you see on camera. That's character Burley. When you have a conversation with him, it's a different one. But it's like, and it's good for most shows where you just like, I'm gonna argue that the Earth is flat, and so lately he's just been thrown in. Oh, you're gonna buy that whole Earth is round thing. Really, like you're really gonna buy into that? You know what I mean? He's like, come on, fight the fight. I'm like, I can't. I'm not gonna argue with you that the Earth is round and flat. Get out of here.
He's a Scientologist, behind closed doors too. That's why he doesn't want anybody to know his real name. Him and Travolta are hanging out on the weekends.
Mm-hmm. Jesus. Yeah, I don't know. He does the last little. I forget there was another one he tried getting a rise out of the other day, and I'm just like, I'm not buying into this one, bud. Nope.
He's just fishing. He's like, come on, Matt. Come on, nibble. Come on.
I'm gonna get you one of these. I don't know what it's gonna be. It's gonna be about some kind of movie that you haven't seen. That's what's gonna get you.
And now, Brandon. We are now 40 minutes in, and you haven't discussed what you're cooking this weekend today or anything. My stomach has not even growled once, and honestly, I'm ashamed of you.
I've had so much food. I just made a club sandwich this morning on sourdough bread. Toasted sourdough club sandwich with some fries and baked them, so it was good. Mm-hmm. That was good. We had just brats and burgers the other night. My in-laws
downplay those. That's a solid summer meal.
It is. But
what kind of turkey was on that sandwich? This is key.
Oh, it was smoked peppered turkey, or what do they call Cajun? I think Cajun turkey is what it was. So
titty twisters.
Yeah, good stuff.
Man.
Interesting.
Hy-Vee has this bacon encrusted turkey that I am just a major slut for. I will put that shit on fucking I'm just rolling up just a little roll of it with some cheese in the middle of it, just eating it as a snack. Oh, fuck.
So this is a segment that we don't ever want to do, but it kind of presented itself. We might as well do it. You got any hospital foods you want to review? You want to throw out some of the good, some of the bad? I mean, you've had some bad stuff. I saw some pictures.
If I don't know if you want me to resend you the picture of a puree pancake.
I'll find it while you're kind of breaking it down.
That was hands down one of the worst meals I've ever had in my life. I was trying to put some syrup into it, and they gave me butter. I'm like, what the fuck? I'm just stirring the butter into this thick puree pancake. Oh, it was. I'm trying to get like a spoon of it, and I'm lifting up the whole bowl because it just won't fucking separate. I'm like, this is the worst. And now, when they upgraded me to the clear liquids, because at first I couldn't eat anything. They were like, hey, you're just IV. You can't even have a drink of water. Be careful when you brush your teeth because we don't want you swallowing in that water too. And I'm like, damn, I'm like, I'm a mouth breather too. So when I woke up in the morning, I thought I was trapped in the Sahara Desert. I'm like, I felt like SpongeBob outside of the water. Another SpongeBob reference. Yeah, look at this shit. That's a pancake. You want to talk about fucking disgusting.
I do like in the background, I did notice it's like, here's your what is it, Smackers or whatever. Is it,
The
syrup. Here's
Smuckers,
3 butter.
Yeah. So they did give me a puree banana. That shit was fire. That was good. That was a 10 out of 10. I will fuck that up any day. I was like, give me 4 more of these. This is delicious. But do you guys, like the Italian shaved ice you get like at a baseball game and stuff?
Yeah.
They had a mini fridge at the nurse's station just stocked of it for me because that was like the only thing I could eat for a while. So they're like, hey, honey, you want another Italian shaved ice? And I'm like, it's 8:45 in the morning. Yeah, go ahead. Just give me another one. That sounds good. Sure, why not? So,
didn't at one point you were like, yeah, can you make that a double? And they were like, you want a triple? And you were like, yeah.
They did give me the 2, and they're like, are you sure you can eat both of these? And I'm like, I know what I'm about, bitch. They're like, fuck yeah, I can smash this. And
you guys remember Road Trip? 2 fingers? Better make it 3.
You better make it 3. Well, then they told me that I couldn't eat red dyes or anything because, obviously they were tracking, everything that was in my system. And then I was like, oh, some Jell-O sounds good when they upgraded me. And then they gave me red Jell-O. And I'm like, I can't eat this, right? And they're like, oh, you can't. Yeah, do you want some more shaved ice? I'm like, fuck, I guess. This is the only fucking thing I can eat, And then they up. And whenever I finally was able to get a meal, I went with the club sandwich because I love me some sandwiches. That bread was so fucking dry. The ham, I believe, was the breakfast ham that they had from that morning, and it was so fucking thick. I'm like, it was. And then, okay, I like bacon on my sandwich. 2 or 3 strips. They had 8 strips of bacon on this club sandwich. And I'm like,
Jesus,
this is the first meal I get to eat, and you are just overdoing it right now.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, what the fuck? But
yikes.
Sandwich was a solid 2 out of 10. Yeah. So I would, damn, yeah, the hospital food was ass. It was straight ass. I would say Italian shaved ice. Shout out to Luigi. You make a very good shaved ice.
Hey, shout out.
And puree bananas. I could live off that probably for a week and be satisfied.
Have you pureed the banana since you've been home?
No, but honestly, like, you know how because you don't want to make eye contact when you eat a banana? Good alternative, puree that motherfucker.
There we go. I mean, that's
so
essentially baby food.
You guys, is this just the thing where I was, or is this a universal thing? When you're with your wife or your loved one or your baby mama in the hospital and they give birth, that you get that after birth dinner that they serve you?
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah,
What's
it's like
that about, and why is that a thing?
I don't
Thanks for the $10,000. By the way, we'll give you some really terrible fucking prime rib or a ribeye.
Enjoy your first meal as a family on us. By us, we mean you and your insurance.
Yeah. Yes. And they're like, we're gonna roll this big table in here with a tablecloth too. Don't you feel so fancy?
Yeah. It's such a weird thing.
It is, and like they offer the steak, prime rib, something fancy. And of course, I know my wife. She's just like, I just want a cheeseburger. I'm like, bitch, I'll just go to McDonald's. This cheeseburger is expensive as fuck.
Yeah. Yep. And most of the time, they're not up for eating whatever, like you said, whatever they're gonna do. So sometimes you're getting double steak, you're getting whatever. I think we had. It's been a while. I think it was like a steak and mashed baked potato or something. Some shitty vegetables. Steak wasn't great, but I don't know. Yeah, that's a weird thing.
I'd be happy if they brought in a Little Caesars pizza. I'm like, fuck yeah.
First baby we had, my wife's in there having contractions, and she's doing fine because she's had the epidural. And there I am next door just smashing on a Jimmy John's. And the nurses gave me the dirtiest looks. My wife was fine with it, but they were like, how dare you? She's in pain.
That's, you can't do anything in that room. And God forbid, like if it's 4:00 in the morning, you're like, I think maybe I'm allowed to close my eyes now. No, you are not. There is never a time to sleep in that hospital room while your wife is giving birth.
How was the bathroom in your guys' room? Because I remember they had like the fancy tub with like the disco lights and stuff in case they wanted to take a bath or whatever. And then there was such an echo in the bathroom. I remember just in there and then you just hear like just the explosion, and then you hear me laughing my ass off. And it was at the time, it was the baby mama and her mom in the room. I was having a good time. I'm like, did you guys hear that? Hear that? They're like, yeah, we could hear it. And then the nurse's station, it was my buddy's mom, and she was like, I think I heard it too. I'm like, yes.
Dude, we had one in Lincoln where, Matt, I'm telling you, you talk about bidets. It was a heated seat toilet that had warm water, and it was a bidet, so I didn't, crazy, but it was fucking heated seat, bro.
Wow.
Life changing, man.
See, it's funny. You're like, heated seat, good when you can, you know what I mean, when they heat it for you. But if I go into a public bathroom and I sit down and it's a heated seat, I'm like, son of a bitch, somebody was just here. It doesn't matter because this has to come out. But you're like, I want that cold seat. I want to know that nobody has been on that toilet. Does it happen in public bathrooms? No, but.
So every time, like, I would go to the bathroom while I was in the hospital because they were like, hey, I had to pee in a urinal every time. And then I'm like, this is fucking embarrassing, and then I would have to keep the little monitor on. But every time that I would go shit, I noticed that they would come in and check on me 2 or 3 minutes after. And I'm like, you good? They're like, yeah, your heart was racing and it was going up. And I'm like, oh yeah, I was just taking a shit. And they go, every time you shit, like your heart's racing. And I'm like, they're filthy shits. Like,
I'm excited.
Yeah, I was like,
I'm trying to do a polar turd in here. Leave me alone.
I was like, think of me. Think of how much pain I'm going through. It's my heart's racing. I was like, yeah, this isn't a good time for me either.
Jesus, that's wild. A buddy of mine, he was in the hospital, had an incident. We were visiting him or whatever. He's like, man, I got to go to the bathroom. So he gets in there, and of course, the same echoes and everything. And there was actually a little opening. And while they were doing that, she's like, oh, is he going to the bathroom? Yep. So she's in there, like, changing the stuff or whatever. And he comes out. He's like, I'm so sorry I did that. She's like, no, we're happy. We're just glad it's in the toilet this time and not the bed. And he was, of course, he had a lot of major things going on, and he's like, what? Right. We're like, you shit the bed. And what she's saying is she was happy that she didn't have to clean your shit off the bed. And he's like, yeah, I got that, asshole, but I don't remember shitting the bed. I'm like, do you think that's an option now? But Jesus.
When I woke up with all that sweat, I thought for sure I pissed the bed, and I go, oh no. I was like, did I really just piss the fucking bed? I was like, this hasn't happened in at least a week. Like, what the fuck?
I've never done this sober.
Yeah, I was like, this is horrible. And then literally everybody coming in just being like, hey, you should probably quit smoking weed. I was like, just because you motherfuckers can't in here? I'm like, don't tell me that I can't. I'm like, fuck you. I was a little negative the first 2 days. I was like, fuck you, you squares. You guys can't do it, so you're lame as fuck. I was like, let's go chief up in the parking lot. I bet you change your mind.
They're probably like, what a rookie. He's out there smoking weed like a teenager. We're popping pills like adults.
They're like, little does he know that we have all the access to the needles that we need around here.
Yeah. You think, oh, sorry, you think you took 4 of those pills? You took 2. I got the other. Ha. But either way, I mean, we'll call this. This was fun. It's good, obviously, having you back, Yuban, and the humor. We're not trying to make fun of you being in the hospital. We know it's pretty serious, but we know how you are as well, and we are also a little bit twisted. So glad you're feeling better. And it's kind of like me and kind of Brandon were chatting earlier. It's like, since you went in the hospital, I'm like, God damn it! Now I have to take care of myself a little bit better because I don't want to end up there. So. We started working out again. We started playing some aggressive pickleball versus kids. I'm undefeated against those little shits. Eating better, but stuff like that. No, it's good to chat with you. Good to see you feeling a little bit better and all that good stuff. So, be out there listening.
Nice to talk to some adults, getting tired of talking to these kids. So I enjoyed it.
Yeah. Good to have that adult time and bro time. And I don't have to poop, so I don't think you guys either. But next time I take a poop, I'm sure we'll all be pooping together. So. See you guys next week. Check out all the other shows on the Beard Laws studio if you want. We got Body Wrong. We got the Triple T podcast. Spoiler alert. Oh, actually, it's not a spoiler. This comes after. We went to 1983 this week. And it was a hell of a good time. Pretty sure. And what else we got? We got this one and Yorktown podcast. Check it out. We got something cool coming up. We're talking about Albert Fish. What a sick motherfucker that guy was. Ugh. Pretty sure the wife's not going to like talking about that one. But either way, check out Yuban Go buy some candles. And Brandon J McDermott. Brandon. It's right there next to the Steve-O book over there. So go check it out. Buy a copy. And his website's back. Can't thank you guys enough. We'll be back next week. Hugs and kisses to all your pig parts. Okay, bye.
Buckle up tight, it's gonna be a wild ride. We're diving deep into your fridge where secrets hide. Mysteries of leftovers, the wonders inside. From moldy sandwiches to ancient yogurt jars, we cover the truth.